Well, welcome everybody. I am going to be doing a single review of a perfume, which is something I haven't been doing much of lately, but it's kind of what I really love to do, honestly. And I'm going to be reviewing a perfume that I've had for a couple of years now. This is AMBRE FETICHE by Goutal, or previously known as Annick Goutal. Perfumers Isabelle Doyen and Camille Goutal. This was released in 2007 and is an eau de parfum. Now, I have this particular bottle, and this is the only bottle that I have experience with. It used to come in the older labeling on the bottle like this, and now is available in the current bottles you see here, which are quite differently. Albeit, I did take the opportunity to smell AMBRE FETICHE in the new bottle last year, and based on what I smelled, it didn't seem very different or different at all. The only thing I can't speak to is how it performs compared to this, because this one here, this particular bottle, which I got given as a partial bottle by a very kind subscriber a couple of years ago. This one here lasts, I can smell it on my skin for at least 6-7 hours easily. It projects pretty well during that time, albeit it's still not, a room filler, which is kind of a good thing as far as I'm concerned in regard to this perfume. How did this become my favorite amber perfume? Now, when I say favorite, it's difficult to really be categorical about that, because the ambers I really have loved over time have done their own thing, and I think that's why I gravitated toward them. They sort of had characteristics that set them apart. So, for instance, for a long time, my reference amber was Ambre Sultan by Serge Lutens, and I loved that perfect balance of that not too sweet vanilla benzoin labdanum base dressed in the herbs and the spices, and it maintained this beautiful light glittery characteristic about that perfume. Other ambers that I like Ambre Russe from Parfum d'Empire. That one there, even though it still has that kind of sort of vanilla benzoin base, is really more about the boozy notes and the ambergris that makes up the amber in that particular perfume. When I smelled Ambre FETICHE, the very first time I actually smelled Ambre FETICHE, I think it was about 2018 or thereabouts, and it was quite early in my nose development. I hadn't smelled a lot. I had already smelled Ambre Russe and Ambre Sultan, and L'air du Dessert Marocain from Andy Tower. They were kind of the reference ambers for me at the time. And then an acquaintance of mine had samples of Ambre FETICHE and also Ambre Aurea by Profumum Roma. And I got to smell them briefly, albeit, because I couldn't keep the samples. I got to spray them on each arm. And yes, this is 7 years ago, but even back then, I was drawn more to the Ambre FETICHE. And then several years later, I was lucky enough to get a bottle. Goutal is not a brand that's easily available here in Australia to smell. You can buy stuff online, but if you want to try stuff, it's quite hard. So I was very lucky to get this bottle. So why is it now my favorite amber? Well, every time I wear this, I'm smelling different things. And today, as I was writing notes for this review, I picked up something that I've only just come to recognize. I'll get to that in a minute. There is a very odd scent memory that this perfume triggers for me every time I wear it. And I'm not suggesting that it's a note that is in there and that everyone that will smell it will get reminded of this thing. For maybe probably Generation X would remember this more than anyone from millennials up to now. But when I was in primary school, or as a lot of places call elementary school, before school classrooms were equipped with their own photocopy machines, whenever a teacher needed to make duplicate copies of a particular piece of writing or worksheet, they would use a spirit duplicator. Now, I had to look up what they were called because I knew what the machine was, and there's a picture of it here, and I knew what the machine was. And the first thing all the kids used to do when they got a very fresh copy of a duplicated sheet of whatever the teacher wanted us to read was to huff it right into our face, because it was that smell of probably methanol that we were all enamored of, and it was a very addicting smell. And whenever I spray Ombre Fetiche, now I don't know what ingredient or note is reminding me of that. There is definitely this kind of boozy alcohol. Now, it could be the alcohol in the perfume, but it just doesn't smell like those cheap perfumes where all you get is a blast of alcohol, because this comes in after a minute or two, and it just really reminds me of that smell from those spirit duplicators, and then sort of disappears after the first 5 or 6 minutes. So that's a really interesting thing, and something that I really like about this perfume. Now, I need to stress here that anyone else who buys a bottle of this perfume, even if it's in this same bottle, may not get it because it's a partial bottle. I have no way of guaranteeing that, there's not a lot of juice in there left, and whether it's sort of changed over time, I don't know. Okay. And for that reason, this is probably not a great review because I'm basing everything I smell on this. But like I said, I did smell Ombre Fetiche last year in the new bottle, and to me, it very much was a similar experience. Okay. Then this perfume, after those first few minutes, the alcohol, boozy aspect of it burns off. It doesn't take long to get this really kind of smoky leather. And even though it's a smoky leather, I want to emphasize the fact that with a lot of birchy Russian style leathers, when I call this smoky, I don't mean like a live crackling fire smoke. I mean more like the fire has been out for a few hours, and the leather has kind of just sat near the smoke and absorbed it all in. It's a lot smoother to me than the exact. Like one example is something like Patchouli 24, which has that really rough birch tar leather accord in it. It's even smoother, I find, than the leather in Cul de Russie from Chanel. So you get that leather, and then it develops again into this beautiful kind of more traditional amber, benzoin, vanilla, and the labdanum is there. Like it's really great if you pay attention how clearly you can smell these particular ingredients in Ombre Fetiche. I love the fact that this sort of is a very transparent perfume, but sort of maintains its structure at the same time. Now, the surprising thing that I realized I was smelling today was this wonderful, earthy, rooty I was about to say virus, earthy, rooty iris note that holds everything together. It is there from beginning to end. It's there to temper that alcohol, to basically unsweeten the resins, to smooth out the leather. And then right at the end, you get more woody aspects, like a really dark varnished floorboard wood. And I picture it being just like almost black polished wood, earthy, almost like weeds and plants are just about to crack through the gaps in the floorboards. So you get everything in here. You get a little touch of booziness, some beautiful earthy woodiness, soft, voluptuous resins, a touch of smoke, and altogether just one of the more complex and original amber perfumes that I've ever smelled. Whether, you know, like if we're looking at the name Ambre Fetiche, amber fetish, I don't know if there's anything that would suggest that, but I mean, certainly I have a fetish for this particular perfume from Annick Goutal. I think, well, I'm pretty sure that I will be replacing this once that's gone, which won't be too far away. I've already worn it a few times this year alone, and it was about time I gave it my review / summary. I hope you all get to smell it. Let me know what your thoughts are if you have tried it. Ambre Fetiche by Annick Goutal. I will see you very soon. If not from here, probably make some content while I'm in Milan, Exons. So we'll see what happens. But otherwise, I'll see you all soon. Bye for now.